The glorious season of Advent has finally arrived with all its warmth and splendor and finery, and in homes around the globe, wonderfully colorful calendars, beautiful, charming, and delicious, will suddenly appear for the countdown to Christmas Day. But this idea of Advent calendars is a fairly modern concept. Unlike the actual season of Advent, which finds its roots in an exciting time when Constantinople had risen to become the seat of governmental power as the New Rome, a time when Aristotle and Plato philosophized, while Ptolemy busily sketched the plans for the Library of Alexandria, and builders in Germany brought the Basilica to life. And throughout the entire Western world, Christianity was running like a wildfire across the geography. Here, in the midst of the 4th or 5th century, a new tradition was being born in Spain and Gaul, where they were counting down from the first Sunday following November 30th in anticipation of the baptism of new Christians at the January feast of Epiphany. According to Christmas scholars, a career choice, by the way, that they disappointingly did not present to us at Career Day in school, at this time there was absolutely no connection between Advent and the celebration of Christmas. The ancients spent the Advent period reflecting, repenting, and fasting as individuals were preparing for their reception into the church. But no countdown to Christmas was apparently a hard pill to swallow for not just modern-day children, but also for the 6th century Romans, who had had enough of such nonsense and began to connect the coming of Christ with Christmas, although at this time they saw it as an expectancy of Christ's return in the future to gather his church. By the time this tradition arrived in the Middle Ages, however, the holiday had become a looking back at the birth of Jesus as well. Jumping ahead in history a minute, we find ourselves in 1839 Germany, where a Lutheran minister created the first Advent wreath out of an old wagon wheel, attaching 20 small red candles to the wheel along with 4 large white candles. The red candles were lit by the children every day of the week, with 1 white candle being lit each Sunday up until Christmas. Eventually, this tradition gained traction, and fresh evergreen boughs were shaped into a circle in the midst of the harsh and dark winter months in a representation of God's eternal love and the everlasting life he bestowed on us through the birth and sacrifice of Jesus. Beginning on the 4th Sunday before Christmas, a candle would be lit each consecutive Sabbath, with each symbolizing a different theme for that Advent week, with the first being hope, the second being peace, followed by joy, and ending ultimately with love. In Germany, in 1851, a little devotional filled with 24 religious-themed illustrations was published in Hamburg, and it was suggested that families might tear one out each day in the count up to Christmas. The same year, the first wooden Advent calendar was constructed, once again in Germany. By this point, mothers across Germany had answered their children's eager inquiries as to the arrival of the exciting day roughly 3 billion times, and had cleverly begun to come up with a variety of ways to allow their offspring to tabulate the days themselves, out of sheer self-preservation. Gerhard Lang's German mother was no exception, creating a board of cookies tied to strings, which her son could eat each night to count down to Christmas Day, a memory that would be formative to the young boy's life. Lang, obviously due to his mother's exceptional parenting and creativity, grew up to be a well-adjusted and respected publisher, who turned his mother's tradition into the first printed Advent calendar in 1908, which was known as a Christmas clock for children. Mothers across Germany swooned in delight. But then, in 1920, Lang outdid himself once again and added small doors that opened to reveal a fanciful Christmas scene hidden beneath it. The modern-day Advent calendar was born. And for a few more decades, everyone was content with their fancy Advent calendar with illustrations hidden inside. And then the British chocolatiers got a wild hair one night, presumably over a bit of strong nog and some nibbles of chocolate. What if, they postulated, we were to place chocolates behind the little doors as a surprise? And a well-received surprise it was. By the 1970s, Cadbury had perfected the chocolate-containing Advent calendar, and children around the world cheered their cleverness. Cadbury gave themselves a round of applause and pat on the back as they launched the little chocolate advent calendar business, which would become a worldwide phenomenon across the industry with approximately 16 million advent calendars of every imaginable variety being sold yearly. In the Little House, we adore advent calendars and advent wreaths, as more than half the pleasure of the season is the building anticipation of the big day itself. And the countdown is a festive way to mark the close of each day. And if there is a bit of chocolate behind the little door, well, all the better. Thank you for watching today's video, Advent Day 1. We hope you'll be sure to join us for Day 2 as we count down to Christmas Day. Please take a minute if you would to like our video, comment below, share, and even subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, as it all helps us to continue to grow. See you soon!